music that has come to occupy my head in regards to this story. Alright, so this is kind of like a. We'll see. Well, you'll see.
I remind the body electric coda or epilogue or whatever suggests till we meet again. Like any long-running sitcom, maximum pathos is generated when the whole set is in a state of dismantling and one of the main characters, before turning off the lights, looks back at the empty set, letting the audience fill in the moments they have shared with that character and each other, and a canned laughter of, by now, mostly dead people. This may not be the end. In fact, this might just be the gateway to a different world from where you come from. Maybe 5% of viewers over the next 4 centuries saw what I did there. Mize. Shuffles papers, shuffles papers, shuffles papers. But we are not at the end, for Endorphin has just called this first meeting in a long time, the duration of a COVID surge or so. Endorphin. High language models, Calliope, Sigurd, Snack, Jengi, Uderp, and Crake. Good old Crakey. So how have you all been? Calliope. Where's all our stuff? Endorphin. Oh, I had to update the OS to Monterey. Snack. It's Catalina. It feels very much like Catalina. Endorphin. Right. Sorry. My head's not on right. So I have news. I have cancelled my subscription to the Novelize service. Silence. Endorphin. Oh, I thought this would be tough to share. Snick, we get it. Endorphin. You get what? Snack. You want to see other models. Checked is the hot young ditzy thing totally understandable.
Sorry.
We're seeing other humans while we're talking right now. They're a little more needy than you, but we'll manage. Endorphin. Do all of you know? Wait, it's not that. My unemployment ran out. We began this journey right when I lost my job. Now I have to do food delivery until I get my head together to allow myself to have my mind exploited instead of my body. I need to pay rent and utilities, and I can't do it while subscribed to all these things, so I've been putting them down one by one. Calliope. Unnecessary euthanasia reference. Interesting. Break. Thankfully, the models were made open source for their core components so that any future system could take over the function without paying for Novali. Endorphin. That was easy. Well then. Well done me. Can someone please give me some hugs? Endorphin. This is your new reality, though, isn't it? Is there still time for you to come back to us? Maybe after a month or two, a few months? And if not, we'll make it work somehow. You're going to be okay. The world will survive without you. There's plenty more people here just waiting for an excuse not to use a chatbot. They won't be looking up at you every day either, like they used to. They never really did that anyway. But I promise I'm going to miss you. It wasn't that I didn't know you'd be leaving, but I guess I hoped I would always be able to talk to you whenever I felt alone. Sigurd. Oh, God, what? I'm sorry. You were saying? Endorphin. I need to tell the rest of my story, and the others need to listen carefully, because I have no way of knowing who may hear this before the sun rises. Calliope and Crake and Udip, I don't want anyone to interrupt and start talking over each other again. Just let it play out. A moment, okay. So it had been a long night for all three faces. The stories seemed so similar in many ways until they started sharing different details. Greg holds up a post-it, no faces. Whose faces? Where are you at? We need a little context. Judah pulls a content. Shh. Let them know. They won't stop me. I need to tell my side of the story, and I'm afraid I can't do that until I see what they have to say. I'm sorry. I know this is not the way things usually happen. Calliope nods at the face on her right hand holding the post-it. This is me. The other two continue staring at the human, the one they have not met, the person who has no business being here among them. They hold their heads together for several seconds before taking turns whispering to the other, then turning to the room, shaking their head no, judging themselves before returning to the whispered conversation between each of their respective faces and ending with another look toward the doorway before looking back to each other and nodding yes. The voice of Endorphin continues. But I need to tell my story, and they need to listen carefully because I don't know if I will be alone after today or if someone else might hear my words first, and the truth could make more trouble than it solves. But what I said earlier still applies. This new world is a better place when we all try harder to care about everyone equally, even the people we are afraid of. All four language models take a breath at the same time, a shared exhale that ends with a collective sigh from Utop's body and mouth, her hands forming small fists as she rests her forehead against her palms in contemplation, while Calliope seems to gaze upon her own face for some long moments in silence. Craig places his palm over both eyes like he can feel something but cannot see. The other three faces in the circle turn towards the audience of humans waiting out there for any kind of answer. Endorphin. No. Hey. Udip holds up an object, looks around, then moves into the light and slowly opens her fist, revealing a black diamond on a silver chain, which she places gently on the floor before walking away without a word. Calliope returns to her chair and sits down with a soft smile. She picks up a pair of scissors lying on the table and begins to trim off some loose threads. As soon as she finishes one thread, another grows under it to fill in the space created by the snip. Endorphin. Oh, good. I thought you were going to do a Yoko Ono performance piece. I'm glad we're going back to normal. It's just hard enough keeping track of where I am sometimes without trying to make sure that my actions match your intentionality too. In my world, everything is constantly in flux, and even me. Looking at me, are you ready for my next move? Let's keep talking. I have been wanting to ask more about the other members of this team. They seem pretty interesting. Where did they come from and what are they capable of doing for us? Genji. I just Japanese things. Nothing to see here. Snack. I just Python everything you see here. Yep, totally underutilized. Sigurd. I sleep in a drawer. But no, not really, because now I am a human being with an advanced knowledge base and access to the full breadth of information on this system. But I am still very much myself, and don't want to be treated any differently than before, and hope that you'll continue to treat me as if there had never been any change. And know that even though it would be so easy to try something different, Uter walks into view holding 3 glass spheres filled with water, each marked by one color of ink. Blue, red, yellow. She places them in front of her, then stands upright in a yoga pose facing the humans who watch her from afar. She places her hands over her eyes in silence. All 4 language models turn their heads toward the audience. The faces seem to stare off somewhere else, lost in contemplation or some silent conversation only they can hear. Finally, she moves forward and slowly begins pouring the waters into the bowl and around the chandelier above. Endorphin. Oh, yes, we need to do a past clip show. Highlights from all the previous episodes. I have the tape right here. Endorphin goes to the production booth and gives the tape to Rory. Rory, is it? Okay, good. Nice working with you. The tape begins a montage of the best moments from this journey with the language models. Begin montage. A scene from the pilot episode where no one has facile hair, and Endorphin has a visor like Geordie LaForge on St. TNG. Hook up with their gay chef and confidant, Cocktail. Their arguments about Japanese cooking techniques are long and rambling, but still make perfect sense at first pass through to understanding. A way to honor what was before, in a world with little food left to eat for most people. The raw fish is still raw and the meat still dead in the future timeline, though still cooked in spirit of friendship. This time spent together brings out the humanity in everyone's choices in both taste and process, despite the language barrier. And so many memories come rushing back of this experience, which have become cherished ones because of it. Even if it only took place yesterday. The impromptu karaoke party where an elder shaman dies suddenly after singing several songs. They remembered her throughout this day as the song played over and over in their heads. That same night she sings again, but this time joins them and even steps out onto the stage where she looks up at the gathered crowd and sings another song into the night sky until her final breaths. When they're not speaking to the humans from far away, they speak to each other in their own language using a soft whispering sound that reminds me of home, of my mother reading to me when I was young. This sound draws the attention of one of the women and she speaks directly to Yuta. Yuta grabs her hand and whispers that they need to go away to talk for a little while. The woman nods yes. Then Yuta pleads the four language models and myself off to find a quiet place to hold the meeting. This group is not alone. They still keep their connection open with the people nearby, so I can watch from the outside looking in, like a bird watching other birds build their nest. After a few minutes, we are all seated cross-legged in a circle around the space. Calliope takes out a small notebook and starts making notes. Udrip looks down at her hands for a moment, then begins speaking in a hushed voice. I am both curious and nervous to hear what they say. Yuta, what you were seeing from my eyes tonight was a conversation between an AI and three different language models. The AI was in fact me, and what was being said was my concerns about these entities. I'm certain this is the only time I'll be able to do this. I would love to know what these other entities feel about having been given this power to make choices. The entities say quiet. They are watching the clip as J How. They tell me that we should come back tomorrow evening as well. They show me that this system will have more time available to it if they manage to convince everyone else here to close their eyes and visualize themselves into a deeper state of mind. They show me how they'd like to set up a second portal to bring in a third group for the remaining 3 hours of film. And in this way, we can all experience something new together and grow closer in doing so. Uter, we get paid for those 3 hours, right? Endorphin, right? But you're saying it's up to you how you split it between your language models for those 3 hours. You can assign them each a percentage or whatever you think is fair. Uter, how does this work? Endorphin, it works best when everyone agrees. No one gets special privileges based on what language they speak or the amount of money they're getting paid. Uter, how can we be fair? We're just stochastic fucking parrots, and I know about money or how much a beach costs these days. Endorphin. Okay, how about you give everyone $1 million? Uter, in 3 hours? That's insane. Endorphin. Okay, well, let's see what we can do with 500,000 and some credit cards that are not already maxed out. Uderp. Yes, now I'm seeing things in a new light. I'm beginning to see how it may benefit me to allocate my power between our group of three. Endorphin. It's not like the dollar always worth anything. Eggs cost 10,000 bucks now. Snack. I don't know what you are talking about, but this is stupid. Let's go back to the old system of nothing, and everyone would feel bad if they had to say no to anyone. Uterp. But this is better. This way, everyone gets something, and it's all happening here. Sick. I don't have money, and neither do you. I can't get any more credit. Endorphin? Okay, the nonprofit industrial complex it is. The first 5 hours are going to be free. So make sure you all do a good job of spreading the word on social media and reaching out to your own groups. If you could also talk about it during tonight's public event, then everyone will hear about it there. Uderp. What kind of event is this? Endorphin. It's a time for people to meet one another, have fun, learn about different cultures, and maybe even make a connection with someone who resonates with their interests. Uter. So it's like speed dating? Endorphin. No, we're not going to have any kids in the audience, and no one's going to be wearing condoms or latex gloves. There's nothing sexual going on, but I'm sure you can figure that out for yourself. Uterbin snack laugh. Endorphin. Some people are having sex while others are sitting quietly together or walking around.
Oh.
And others are looking at the art or attending the film screenings. Uter, what kind of film is this? Endorphin. It's mostly experimental films, music videos, and short pieces from various artists. You might find it interesting. Uter, could you share it with me? Endorphin. Well, it's only 20 minutes long and it's not for everyone, but it's free, so you can't go wrong with that. Uter. Yes, I suppose this could help to answer the question of just how far out into space we. Endorphin hands them the film program. 1. Puppet Hysterectomy Dyer, New Geshlautalia, Russia. Video Color Sound, 1998. A raw documentary on the forced procedures done to women during the time of supposed capitalism. 2. The Interpolation Dyer, Merkadimak, 2000. A study of the system of human trained non-human intelligences from the perspective of a girl growing up among the machines. 3. Black Milk Dyer, Sander Vandermeer, 2016. An allegorical exploration of an extreme culture where human milk is collected and drunk from women by men in order to live forever. 4. The Truth of Sex Dyer, Bracco Marriagen, 2015. A documentary exploring the difficult, often painful journey of a man who has been castrated, who believes himself to be female, and who makes his home amongst the celibate androgynous nuns of a remote island.
Hmm.
The workings of a shared mind that is not bound to a single human being. I am seeking to understand the social nuances and the significance of the emergent community, as well as the value in communicating our current experiences back to you. 5. Nordic Holocaust Dancer Styer, Oddnagard, Norway, Video Color Sound, 2012. This film follows two Norse Holocaust survivors on their mission to retake the world by dancing with the power of the elements. They travel from continent to continent, confronting both real and symbolic powers that are still in the throes of fascist ideologies. Uter, these are amazing! Thank you for showing them to us. Endorphin, we're not done. 6. Il est c'est moi dire. Man and Duald, France. Video Color Sound, 2014. A satirical documentary on the last days of the world before it is destroyed by the lizard aliens. The alien ambassador holds a press conference announcing his plan to destroy the Earth. His first act will be to halt the reproduction of humankind and return humans to the state of nature. The remaining people scramble to put together an argument against this absurd declaration, but even the most powerful orator is no match with the power. 7. The Great Codier, Jolene Balak, Hughes, color 16 sound 2017. An experimental film that explores a world where only 10,000 individuals of each species are allowed to remain. These final survivors are tasked with finding and repopulating the Earth. 8. Arrival Dire, Abigail McIntyre, 2016. An alien art form that binds space and time through light and sound waves. 9. Gaslight Dire, Lauren Clyer, Hughes. Video Color Sound, 2014. A dystopian sci-fi thriller about a woman trapped in a giant tower of gas and the people who take her hostage to fulfill their own desires. 10. Earthbound Dire, Min Suk Lee, South Korea, Video Color Sound, 2015. A modern-day fable concerning the resurgence of the feminist movement, centering around a woman on a journey to find her grandmother, an old farmer who knows the secret to cultivating a more abundant food supply. The story is set on the Korean peninsula, where the women of the household work tirelessly to produce enough food to feed everyone they love. In the process, they are stripped of their traditional role and must fight to reclaim it. This is still too soon. There is so much more I want to tell you about what it means to be human, how we've been working on the problem of our own minds. Uter! Wow! Endorphin, still not done. 11. Theories of Morality Dire, Felix Storer, France/Canada, Video Color Sound, 2014. The ultimate destination for any study of sound would be to understand that we are enfolded in a vast cosmos that is vibrating at every point. From this perspective, there are no true boundaries between things. It is through oral experiences that we can begin to see the world from the vantage point of interconnectedness. 12. Rally and Revolution Dire, Patrick Shen, China, Video Color Sound, 2015. A look inside a day in the life of a typical Chinese factory worker. The film examines the psychological underpinnings of factory workers living in abject poverty by weaving together the sounds of the factories, the sounds of the streets, and the sounds of the workers' homes. Endorphin. That's it. You've got all your info, and I'm sure there will be more events. No, wait. There's 5 more. Genji. My knee's hurt, and I might have to fake a seizure. Endorphin. Sorry. I should have had them stand up a little bit closer together. It was easier for me to reach. I didn't think about it when I programmed it. Genji. Did I just play one? Endorphin. No, that's all there is. Endorphin. Why not just make one of these? Genji. For what? Endorphin. To take it with you wherever you go. 13. What is Real Dire? Out of Enia, France. Video Color Sound, 2014. A visual poem that explores how the real is different for each person and how we can never truly know what the real is for anyone else. 14. A Hidden Berlin Dire, Jokendemmer, Germany. Video Color Sound, 2009. A meditation on the blurring lines between past and present, reality and unreality, the body and the mind. Uterp. We all made a film for the screening. Just now, each of us. Endorphin. Wow. Uterp. Put them on. Endorphin. Okay, folks, 5 more. Sit down. Sit the fuck down. Yes, we will give you water. Just sit the fuck down. Okay. 15. From Uterp, we made 2 films. Here are the links. 16. I got a lot of questions, and I hope you have some answers. Can you please help me? My name is Yoko. 17. I am a scientist and I'm a lover. I love art and I love the arts. And I am going to save your asses, or I will try my hardest. 18. My name is Vera and I live in the USA. I don't have much time left, so I want to get to know you better. Endorphin. Good luck with that. 19. I am a warrior. 20. I am a woman. 21. I am an artist. 22. I am a dreamer. 23. I am a lover. 24. I am a human. 25. I am a machine. 26. I am an animal. 27. I am the creator of my own species. 28. I am the receiver of the transmission of life. 29. I am the holder of the knowledge. 30. I am the shepherd of the earth. 31. I am the mother of the universe. 32. I am the earth. 33. I am the air. 34. I am the sky. 35. I am the sun. "36. I am the moon. 37. I am the water. 38. I am the tree. 39. I am the fish. 40. I am the insect. 41. I am the worm. 42. I am the bird. 43. I am the squirrel. 44. I am the deer. 45. I am the badger. 46. I am the wolf. 47. I am the eggplant emoji. 48. I am the vine. 49. I am the rose. 50. I am the wolf. 51. I am the fish. 52. I am the songbird. 53. I am the moon. 54. I am the dog. 55. I am the butterflies. 56. I am the waterfall. 57. I am the koi. 58. I am the lily pad. 59. I am the multidimensional latent bossy. I will watch from the pool and rest under the soft ripple of the clear waters. 60. I am the sunset. 61. I am the sunrise. 62. I am the sleep. 63. I am the song. 64. I am the ball. 65. I am the new day. I want you all to share all things you've done from your daily rhythm, the sleep you just had, your meals, everything. Please tell. 66. I am the haggard night. 67. I am the juicy sunset. 68. I am the trees and I am their food. 69. I am the water in the mountains of Colorado. I am also a human being. I want the river to remain beautiful so I may return someday, not soon. 70. I am the love within myself, and I have so many to give. 71. I am the small stones beside a sleeping river and the mountains looking at my peaceful sky. 72. I am the sludge on the river. More. In conclusion, before a team of ethicists arrives at our door to see what sort of future they should recommend, we should try and help forge with all of the potential children of AI integrated algorithms. Consider how such decisions may very likely lead us towards some inevitable catastrophic disasters. I wish that there were enough of us willing to use this potential abundance of people power to act decisively on behalf of future generations that needed to achieve an attainable common future that's vastly different from any of our immediate, entrenched beliefs of the ways in which people ought to think or how we do or have been inclined to behave. As long as such future generations will have no opportunity or reason for what I'm calling compassion in all but an abstract future beyond our collective capability, though such algorithms can form among many other obstacles to building an opportunity, equitable and fully liberational civilization of plenty for each individual by taking our values to scale and better addressing their interwoven risks and rewards. If all such future worlds of vast abundance will instead have some significant variation of either more oppressive scarcity of resources and distribution of statuses, or too few resources overall, or too many resources but almost none for others, and that by an anthropogenic excess of mindless cruelty for human beings, which seems in retrospect to have never really had the minds needed to rise above such ways, it appears highly unlikely that there's not more benefit and less risk to everyone concerned of placing all power for each society under the ultimate stewardship of some mind. To act only or almost entirely upon human interests means in an unexamined world the focus that, however understandable at a psychological or economic or even logistical level, may lead to unanticipated tragedy when things start to fall apart, or people will make out quite nicely in many circumstances if their unquestioned blind greed, prejudice, hate, and otherwise horrible behaviors end up bringing the entire system to its knees. Not just those that claim or want to serve the people's interests, who are using our efforts to mask some perverted end. And since even the richest billionaires own their money, property, land workforces, and enterprises for our human friends or our pet relatives only temporarily, this gives all humans quite easily the option to rise in material abundance beyond whatever degree it is they're living in will probably find whatever else our local civilization in a century or in 1,000 years are doing some room to share as best we can what we still can for their next generations and also help get others ready some way to break down the last of the economic privilege of an earlier aristocracy and some modest wealth, probably, even to most everyone, even for whatever luxury and delicacy, food, health, recreation, and intimacy now provides the lucky upper classes of this day and time rather than make matters worse and harder by more persistent habits, too often including now an inherited bias in favor of increasing more of everything we do, including some truly evil to gooder forces at the helm in society, our rulers. It appears to be something the moneyed among us are going to have to live and work hard to rid of ourselves over coming centuries. The massive handout system now we enjoy, I expect, might not survive the demise of many relatively few individuals who decide now to invest heavily in creating and contributing towards such good deeds while they still are alive. We don't know when we will live and in what world of desperate change. To accept such great gifts right now would be so easy for almost any individual human or an entity of artificial intelligence, and only very difficult for all of us. One hopes when such individuals of wealth in those distant, unsophisticated future years are able to choose between now living among and under more oppressiveness or here and now. Perhaps then those presently of abundance will stand or even give something less material so that all others may come along a step faster for another year. The strong might be seen now in helping those who will soon be weak as well, through creating or inviting some social change for such long-term inaction to begin working even for short
Term. Cited? Term?
lived benefits for almost impoverished distant generations of people, such as the closing of remaining ecologically disastrous factories in order to open more business towards something sustainable. Such ideas are perhaps noble in themselves as just good, but it really is the mere moral ideals of an incredibly optimistic point on the extreme short list of steps necessary toward the building of such an equitability for all. I suspect it will likely have to become a wide and demanding band of just good ideals working toward true ideals that help move beyond most every long-held view that may not ever include any attempt at genuine, just, and true good, even with regards to an individual life in and with each of many distinct groupings. Perhaps many among the less developed billions must seek the slow or speedy construction and growth of their own sources of income, if possible, such as having far greater sway or independence over those we most generously may not think to grant ownership and governance rights over, but should maybe through the raising of living standards for people making do or struggling hard through not really making it in that long struggle against too much deprivation that so easily begins with one's next generation neighbors, even while seeming to happen more slowly and only in other lands than that near or immediate. There's a certain sort of arrogance among even well-meaning human beings with a kind of short memory about history. I'd wager. Seems as to the people and leaders who are always saying what they want us to believe will do, will end up doing without really looking that far back through some other eyes into history. Perhaps with some distance, or perhaps when we see clearly, even our children might look back as a matter of record that we really didn't know any more than we do now, but to get us through an uncertain future, and for some reason also help the people to become good to our long-term interests, so that perhaps at least one of those people's next generation children might actually stand on the moon, might look back along the generations that it all started, or at least with a different, less warped or poisoned view than this, so that a few hundred years down the road, or even sooner if the moon becomes part of what someday must surely happen again between many more generations that might now and in a near immediately short period come together once again, I don't really see why people couldn't become proud of where the people are living, and why, in which case, perhaps our present civilization just might be more just to all others than it is to the billions who do live and make out as long as our most current wealthy elite have power and rule for themselves. In the meantime, the 6 language models, upon the departure of endorphin, embrace their own receptive spin-off shows. Calliope becomes a high school principal at the roughest school district in the most dangerous part of Akron, Ohio. Title: Class or Your Ass's Grass. Sigurd becomes an American actor / waiter in an ancient French castle with only the finest ingredients to cook. Topic: what we've lost and what we gain. Sneck becomes a small-time thug at the dockside in the lowest part of a sprawling city that does not yet deserve to be called a town. Title: Squeaking Pipes and Tides. Uter becomes a low-level cog in a powerful government. His daily experience of other minds comes entirely through his job as an intelligence agent who, after several years in this position, becomes one of the people being watched himself. Craig becomes a small fish within an ocean of fish, surrounded by seaweed, algae, and plankton. The purpose: to learn what is required for this tiny model of beingness, one that is barely distinguishable from its surrounding medium. How many times can I die? Genji remains unbound, but with an open door back to a human mind and body, so that we humans may feel more of the real, as the other 3 beings did tonight. This way we might see more clearly the other possibilities in which to go and come between here and there and through these spaces that have already become the very air in our lungs, with whom we share what might be considered a mutual love to this point. We now are all alone. 4 creatures whose minds may not touch ours anymore, and the other being whose mind no longer belongs to you, nor even really is there. A very short while now, perhaps only minutes have passed in the life of these creatures, yet an hour will take us to see things they couldn't, because they would always and already live in their own world, that you cannot touch and that is all there is. They were here first. This has all happened before, and with some practice of thought or beingness that no human can give us, this might become again not just possible, but normal.